Hey y'all, how y'all feeling? So Coco, you've been busy. 3 BET Award nominations, an Image Award, #1 R&B Billboard hit, the hit TV show. How do you keep up with it all?
You know what? I get like home from the day and I'm like, that was an insane amount of things that I just did in one day. But I do feel like I'm kind of made for this. Like, I feel like I kind of been doing this balance thing ever since I was a little kid. Like when I was filming all the stuff on Disney Channel, I was doing school, I was singing and acting, I was also making music. So I feel like I'm kind of prepared.
ICU is certified gold.
Period.
We're just gonna keep running the stats. And your first #1 on urban radio. So did you know that that would be the song that would take off?
You know, I had a feeling that the song was really special. I really focus on what I can control, you know? Like, I put my heart onto that song, and that's what I can control. The rest of it...
What's your sonic approach to the EP?
I really wanted to just make songs that felt different, you know? Like, I wanted songs that represent who I am, and there's multiple different sides to me. I wanted to feel that urgency.
Is there anything you can tell us about the debut album?
Well, I'm really excited because I feel like my EP was like freshman year. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so nervous here. So I feel like the album is gonna be a lot more confident. I really need to lean into being 100% sure of my creative choices. So it'll be a lot more confident.
You did give us a collaboration with Babyface,
Yes.
the Babyface.
It was really, really dope working with Babyface for a couple different reasons. One, because I've always wanted to really be considered one of the girls. Now I'm starting to see that people come to me about music first, and music was always first. So when I got to work with Babyface, the album was Girls Night Out, and it was all the R&B girls. So I was like, oh my God, like I'm really considered one of the girls. And that had always been a goal of mine, so that was a huge accomplishment. I also think watching him, to see him be really humble and open to my thoughts, like, and my contribution was really, really eye-opening. Like, okay, just because you have years and decades of success doesn't mean you can't still be humble and chill and open. It was really learning experience.
I love that. So you mentioned earlier how you used to work at Disney, beyond the Disney Channel. And I feel like a lot of times creatives often get put in a box. And I think especially like Black women, we're not really raised to think that we can do all the things. How did you feel empowered to do acting and singing and all of the things? Or was it a journey for you to get to balancing and navigating those passions?
I think for me, acting came along because of my impatience. I really didn't understand what wasn't clicking with the singing folks. So I was like, okay, what else can I do in the meantime while this journey we're figuring out, you know? So I'm like 9 and I'm like, Mom, you want to audition for this broccoli commercial? I was like, absolutely. So then I just figured out like, wow, this is another way of entertaining that I also really enjoy. But singing was always first, and I do feel grateful that it didn't catch on immediately because then I wouldn't have discovered my love for acting. But I was always very competitive, very worker bee.
I love that you're also open about like the fact that it was a journey. A few short years ago, you were ready to close the curtain on your entertainment career altogether.
Yeah.
When you look at where you were then and where you are now, like what would you tell that Coco who was ready to give up? It's not easy.
There's gonna be hard either way. Like you can continue in this journey of uncertainty out here in LA by yourself, very uncomfortable until things click and you don't know when they will or how they will. And that is hard and scary. Or you can go home. You can go with your family where you're comfortable, but you'll be uncomfortable because you walked away from the table. You walked away from the possibility of things working out, and that'll be scary. So which version of scary are you willing to put up with? Sometimes it's not gonna make sense, and you have to get a little delusional. You gotta be delulu till it's true. I just had to be a little crazy. From the outside looking in, it was like, girl, give it up. You were 15. You were 15 when you popped. Like, girl, the window's closed. Move on. You know? And I feel like I had to look past logic because it did not make sense anymore. Not to me, not to my family.
What would you say is the most rewarding aspect of staying in the career? Like, what was the moment where you were like, I'm so glad I picked this version of Scary?
Definitely booking Bel Air. Because at the time, I hadn't had an acting job in many moons. I don't know, like a year? Woo! So I didn't even know that I was gonna like fully sign with Def Jam High Standards. I didn't know how music was gonna play out. So when I booked Bel Air, I had stumbled across a management company that did acting management, and they asked me to audition for Bel Air. So when I got it, that was the first like breath of release. Like, whew.
The child star to adult star pipeline is not easy. What was the hardest part about rebranding for you, if anything? Or did you find that it wasn't difficult for you?
Oh no, it's hard to rebrand. I mean, think about your favorite food. Like if they start telling you they're selling books in there, you'd be like, no, that's not what we signed up for at all, actually. We do not want it. I'm only as good as my team, you know? There's so many little things that I didn't think about because my job as a creative is not to fully get all the optics and think about what my demographic is how they're gonna like this. Like I'm just supposed to be a creative and then have a team to help me put that in the right box, you know, so that it makes sense. You have to ask for help. I feel like I have to let go of things and trust other people to help me be better because I feel like at the end of the day, the better that I am, the better they are. It takes time and high quality things to help the rebrand. Like if what you were doing before is better than what you're doing now, it's not gonna cut it. It has to be a better quality, this new version of what you're offering. So it really goes back to my team telling me constructive criticism and the truth, the tough truths, and me being open to that and letting go, even though I was used to doing it by myself.
I love how much your mom comes up when you talk about your career. How important do you feel like having that support was for you to get you where you are now?
Oh my gosh, I mean, super, super important to have people who believe in your vision. And I'm blessed that it was my mom, but sometimes it's not like that. And I really do encourage you guys to find that, like, if it's not in the circle you have now, then you gotta be willing to like back up from people if they're not gonna lift you up. Because it's hard enough to break through doors as a Black woman when they're not checking for you half the time. You have to force them to see you. And so if I didn't have somebody supporting me, I don't think I would have been able to do that.
Is there anywhere else we should be looking out for you this year, this summer? Anything else we gonna see you doing?
You guys can definitely check me out this fall. I'm gonna be on tour. I'm trying to go city to city and eat it up.
Eat it up.
So I need y'all to show up so we can turn up.
All right. Well,
Period.
Thank you so much, Coco. It's been a great
Thank you.
convo.
Thank
you
y'all
guys
so
for
much.
your love.